I haven't been uploading anything for a while for a couple of reasons. One, I've noticed a lot of other bigger name carnivore influencers, if you want to call us all that, uploading essentially videos that are the same content they've made before. And I'm not going to denigrate them for doing it. I understand that people's perspective on things can change. They've learned new things. They found better ways to present the material. I get all that. If I'm going to do something like that, I want to have a fresh take on something. And at least at this moment, I don't have something like that. But on the other, I've been really focused on my trying to repair the damage done when I accidentally fell off the wagon by allowing myself to order a coffee drink at Christmas a while ago, where it was, I went to a place, ordered a keto version of a coffee drink because I thought I'd splurge a little bit, and the person making it had no idea what they were doing and handed me something that was like by volume half sugar, which was not good. It caused over a year's worth of problems for me. And since getting things back under control, and I'll describe my method for that in a minute, I've lost 70 pounds almost of the weight that I've gained, and it's a good start, we'll call it. That's what I've been focusing on, aside from my day-to-day job. But this journey, if you want to call it that, really did make me think about something, and I'm going to bring this to your attention. You may have seen this in a lot of carnivore social media groups. A lot of people just quitting. And not because carnivore's hard, that's usually why people quit, but I've also seen a lot of people admitting they can't do this forever. And so this is a question you need to ask yourself. Once you've gotten through the initial phases, it's not the kind of question you ask yourself when your body is demanding that, to break your diet and go back to eating garbage. This is the question you should ask yourself once you've been in this for a few months. The question is, can you do it forever? Is a carnivore diet truly sustainable? And the answer to that question is one that will determine what you need to do. You should also ask yourself this question at the appropriate time. And I'm dealing with a lot of stressful things right now. My wife is expecting a child she's going to go into labor here in the next few weeks, as well as just the things going on in the world and everything. A lot of people are having a lot of anxiety about the state of affairs in this country. But you should ask yourself, can you do it forever? And if the answer is yes, I congratulate you. I hope that's true for you. And wonderful. I wish that was true for me, because if the answer is no, which I think it was for me recently, perhaps asking myself at a time when it wasn't the best because of the stress, you need to have a game plan. What is your plan for when you get to where you want to get to? Are you going to re-embrace the kind of what I call Carnivore Diet 1.0? You remember when carnivore influencers mostly talked about the carnivore diet as an elimination diet? I know what you can't have, or what you should only have very, very sparingly once in a very great while. Find the things that cause you inflammation and the rest of it. And then by eliminating everything but the red meat and the salt, and then slowly adding things back in. You remember those days? I haven't seen a video from a carnivore influencer saying that recently, but that is what a lot of people used to sell this diet through. Not so much anymore. And I know, for instance, that I can live happily on a clean, whole foods, ketogenic diet long term, as long as I give myself the ability a few times a year to do very basic, normal social things, like celebrate my anniversary with my wife by taking her to a nice restaurant and then not avoiding 99% of the menu, or even 99% of the things that are put on my plate, for example. And that's kind of where I hope I can get to. And my game plan for that is based on how I got myself back on the carnivore diet. It was very instructive, because I got back on the diet and fell off of it, and got back on and fell off of it over and over and over again over the course of the more than a year it took me to get back on. But I finally decided, I had sort of an epiphany, if you will, to just go keto. I know it's a revelation, right? My biggest performing video, by how many of you found me, was why I gave up on a ketogenic diet. I may have to go back to that eventually to just be sustainable. And then if once in a while I want to have the thing that isn't even ketogenic, I can. And then maybe if I'm going to make that kind of a choice, I make a better version of the choice. Instead of getting the highly processed, seed oil infused mystery ingredient food item, quote unquote, at the store, I go buy a more expensive version of the same item made from a mom and pop kind of place. Still scratches the same itch, has a much better outcome on the body, and is made of real food. And then go back to keto the next day. And if need be, go back to carnivore for a while. I don't know. It's a question, though, that I think everybody should ask themselves in a very serious way. And don't answer with the bravado of, oh, yeah, sure. Actually think about your own foibles, your own weaknesses, and ask yourself if you can do it. Not everybody's a steak and butter gal, right? She will be carnivore the rest of her life, I have no doubt. Same with Dr. Chafee. But some people, when faced with that question, won't maybe not like the answer. Instead of getting downcast about it and giving up, you ask yourself that question and then you develop the game plan of what you're going to do when the situation changes, when you've reached your goal, if your goal is weight loss. Now, I recognize there are plenty of you who will never be able to go back to eating much of anything other than red meat and eggs, bacon, salt, and maybe a cup of coffee in the morning, because anything else will wreck you. It will cause all those metabolic problems you solve with this. My problem is weight and weight gain. But I have a suspicion that if I wasn't doing carnivore, I'd be pre-diabetic or full-on diabetic at this point. That's my suspicion, and that looms large over this too. As a general aside, is anybody else feeling a little vindicated by the way that the subject of seed oils, corruption in the food industry and related industries are now being openly talked about in the political process, and especially by the person that everybody kind of figures is the front runner, despite what the media is telling you right now? I feel a little vindicated about that. I don't know about you, but it's good that this is being discussed anywhere in the broader culture. And I suspect it's going to cause more people to come and look at ketogenic and carnivore diets. And so if you have a friend of yours who you've been talking to about your diet and they kind of were skeptical about it, maybe they're going to come to you in the new year and ask you how you did it and be more open to it. And this question that I'm asking you to consider, is one that you might want to ask them. Especially if they get 2 months into it and they finally broke it free of the candy addiction or whatever, and they're losing their weight and their inflammation is going away and all the rest of it. And they start wondering if they can do it forever. And then you can help guide them through it. The best people for helping others with carnivore diets isn't someone talking to you on a webcam. It's one friend to another, one family member to another, one colleague at work to another. Those everyday human interactions are far more important than this sort of impersonal thing we have going on right here. And I say that as someone who makes his living on YouTube. So the everyday thing is much more important. But I'm curious what you have to say about this. Some people are going to be very annoyed that I did this, but my plan is, when I've lost the weight that I need to lose, that I will essentially do what I did before in reverse. I spent a couple of months keto to just break away from all the vestiges that would cause me problems. I didn't want to go carnivore again and then just fall off of it again. And so what I'm going to do is, first thing I'll do is instead of doing one meal a day, presently I do 1 meal a day, 6 days a week. And then for religious reasons and dietary reasons, I fast from Thursday at noon to Saturday at about noon every week. And I've maintained almost 20 pounds of weight loss a month doing that. It's incredible and a real blessing. But I will tell you that at some point I'm going to go from 1 meal a day to 2 meals a day, taking advantage of the extra protein for the gym gains and everything else. And then after that, I will do adding in dairy back. Probably not long after that, because man, do I miss having a little something in my coffee. And man, do I miss having a little bit of cheese now and then. And then after that, I'll probably add in a little bit of onion to go with the ground beef, because that is one of the greatest combinations of all time. It's ground beef and onions. And after that, I'll probably add in a little avocado or something just to test fiber, to see what fiber does to me in any real amount. And then after that, I'm not sure. It's good to not plan too much on these experiments, especially when they are this far off as they are for me now, but it's got me thinking. And for those who've watched my videos for a long time, know that I have some of my early videos were about different experiments I've done on myself, like biohacking experiments, carnivore related. Can I have this without a problem? Can I have that without a problem? Do I need Do I need to eat organ meat? Well, answer to that question is no. I've discovered I'm fine without organ meat. I haven't had any organ meat in like 2 years. I haven't had a reason to have it. And so this will be the ultimate one of these kinds of experiments. So if you want to see what's going to happen when I try this, hit that subscribe button or stay subscribed if you're annoyed that I'm asking questions that some people won't like the answers to. And hit like and subscribe in general if you haven't. It does help. Sharing this on social media helps a lot too. I'm Anthony Stine, Practical Carnivore. Thanks for tuning in.